Hi friends, welcome to Adda 24/7. We are in the Scholar series of ABM. Here we are covering important theory, numericals and objective questions. So follow the series from the start. Let's start.
Okay. Let's start with the first objective question. The type of cumulative frequency where the frequencies are added starting from the highest class to the lowest class are called as. Now look at this. Cumulative frequency starting from the highest to the lowest. Now what do you mean by this? Firstly, what is cumulative frequency? Cumulative, what is the word of meaning of this word cumulative? Suppose if I write it like this, let's say 10, then 20, 20, then here 30, 40, and I go on writing. And now what is the cumulative figure? Cumulative means addition of all these before this number. So suppose add accumulation of 10 is 10 only. Cumulation of 20 over here is this 20 plus 10, 30. Cumulation of this is 30 plus 30, 60. 60 plus 40, 100. So cumulative means addition of all these numbers before. So this is cumulative. Now what do you mean by this? The question over here is when the frequencies are added from the highest class to the lowest class. Highest to the lowest means what? Suppose if I am having the, what do you mean by the class? Word class actually. The class means over here, let's say, if I divide, if I'm having, let's say these numbers only, 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay. Now what will I do? I'll divide this number in classes. For example, 0 to 10, then 10 to 20, something like this, 20 to 30, and so on. I go on arranging this. So this is known as a class. Each one is a class, and this difference is known as a class width. Remember this. This is class width. Okay, class width, and this difference. This is a class, and this is known as a class width. Okay. Now, what is the question? Where the frequencies are added starting from highest class to lowest class. So, what will I do? When I arrange this, I'll be arranging it accordingly here. Suppose we take only these three classes up till now. Okay. 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. So, if I want highest to lowest, how will I arrange them? I'll arrange them in this way. 20 to 30 first. Then 10 to 20 next. Here, highest to lowest I'm going. 0 to 10 next. Okay. This is the way I'm going. So I'm going to on the lower side. So this is known as what? Relative frequency, percentage frequency, less than or greater than cumulative frequency. What is the answer? Everyone type in the comment section. It is, here, logically I'll tell you. Answer is between this C and D only. Less than and greater than. So it is greater than. Correct. It is greater than cumulative frequency. Got it? Greater than means whenever I am starting from the highest and going to the lowest. See, this is the highest and going to the lowest. If I am taking the reverse route means lowest to highest, then it is known as less than. Clear? Simple? Okay, move ahead. Type yes in the comment section, everyone. Type yes. Okay. The following table gives less than type frequency distribution of the income per day. Okay. Now what have you to do? Is this less than? I think so. Less than type. It should be greater than type. Okay. Okay. It should be greater than because it is starting from the highest 1500 and it is going to the lowest. Okay. So greater than type. GT I'll write it. Okay. The following table gives the GT type frequency of the income per day. What is the income mode? Now the question is different. Let it be less than or greater than. It doesn't matter. It hardly matters. Question over here is what is the mode? Mode means what? Firstly, understand what is the meaning of mode. Mode means here, this is known as frequency. Frequency. How many persons are having income of 1500? How many persons are having income of 1250? And so on. Okay. What is the mode? Mode means that number which occurs maximum number of times. Maximum number of times. This is known as a mode. There are three words you'll face again and again. One is mean, mode, and median. Okay, these are the three words you'll face Many times. Mean, mode, median. Okay. So what is this mean, mode, median? See, mode just now I told you number of times, maximum number of times. Okay. Mean means what? Mean is average. Average. Okay. And mode is what? Median means what? Median means what? I'll arrange these numbers in the serial order, either ascending or descending. Arrange them. There are two steps to median. First is arrange them in serial order. Okay. And then find the central number. Find central number. Find central number. Okay. So this is known as median. So these three important terms are there in statistics. I gave you this because why? Because here the point over here is this question is only on mode. But you guys must understand if the exam question is on mean, mode or median, anything, you must be able to answer it. Okay. So got it everyone? Mean is average, mode is max, and median is arrange the numbers first and then find a central number. There are various methods to this that I'll explain it in some other video, but the logical part is this. So now tell me, what is the mode in this? Which one is the mode in this? Everyone. Which one is the mode in this? Which one is coming maximum number of times? This is the frequency. Which one has a maximum frequency is a mode. So which is having maximum frequency? 100. So which income class is having this modal class? So this is 1500. So this is your answer. In exam, tick on that wherever 1500 is given. Clear, simple? Got it? Shall we move ahead? See, many questions of this sort are covered in our paid classes. In fact, paid classes, you take the review. All of them are most happy because the complete portion is covered over there. Numericals, objective questions, case studies, everything is covered. Okay. Everyone join, subscribe to Officers Adda 24/7 YouTube channel. In this channel, you will be getting the latest updates on JIB and CIB. Number one. Number two. Now, second thing, you'll be getting the free YouTube series. How to join this? I'll tell you later. Free YouTube series on all the subjects. Okay, so subscribe to it. Click on the bell icon. Okay. The data of some workers' salary are given as this, whatever this is, 2300, 2400, 2500. You can read this data. If the desired number of class intervals is 10, then the class width is. Now, how to find out the class width? Firstly, remember what is the class width? Class width means, suppose if I divide these numbers in let's say any, suppose, okay, let me give you, I gave you some example earlier, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, same one. See this one, 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, same thing. So same class width you have to find it over here. How to find out the class width? So here, remember the formula for class width is, I'll write CW. Class width equals to range upon number required, number of intervals. Okay, range upon number of intervals. Range upon number of intervals. Okay, so number of intervals is what? This you know already, 10. But what is the range? How to find out the range? Range equals to, remember, always remember, range equals to maximum number minus minimum number. Maximum minus minimum. What is maximum number over here? 2300, 2400, 2500, 21, 2000, 2000, 23, 28, 3000, 23, 27, 24, 25. 3000 is the maximum number, isn't it? So 3000. What is the minimum number then? Give me, everyone. Type in the comment section. Which is the minimum number now? Comment section, everyone. Minimum number is 2000, correct? This is the lowest number. So 2000 over here. So range is what? 2000 3000 minus 2000. So 1000. So what is my class width now? So class width equals to 1000 upon 10. So that is equal to 100. So this is my answer. Class width is 100. Okay. What do you mean by class width? What is the meaning of this word? This 100 you have got. It means what? What have you got? It means when I start arranging these numbers, I'll be arranging them like this: 2000 to 2100. Lowest number, and then go on adding 100. Then 2100 to 2200, and so on. Okay, up to what? Last number, 3000. Okay, that last, it will be what? 2900 to 3000. This will be my last class, right? So this is the meaning of this width. Width means, now you check the difference between each one. 22 minus 2100, 3000 minus 2900, 21 minus 2100. Okay, so width will always remain the same. So this is 100. Okay, the class intervals where upper and the lower limits are also included in the class interval are called as, here, upper and the lower limits are also included. Now what do you mean by this? Upper and the lower limits are included. Okay, let me give you the logic over here. Suppose there are these numbers. Okay, how? Let me start. 11, 12, 18, 19, then what? Let's say 23, 27. Let's say these numbers, 29. Okay, now I have to arrange them in classes. I have to arrange these numbers in classes. So how will I arrange them? See, let me start with simple one. Now I can arrange it this way also. 10 to 14, and there I'll write both inclusive, 10 also included and 14 also included. Okay, let's say, let me add one number over here, that is, let's say 14. Okay, 14 over here. Okay, so this is 10 to 14. Then next one is 15 to 19, both are included. 15 to 19. Next one is 20 to 24. Now this class where both are included, upper limit also and lower limit also, this class is known as what? This is your question. Now we'll say, if this is included, what is the other one? The other one is exclusive. Here what happens? Take 0.5 on this side, 0.5 on this side. So it will be 9.5 to 14.5. Look at this, 14.5. 0.5 on the other side, 0.5 on the first side, right? Similarly over here, this 14.5, 0.5 on the other side, okay, to 19.5. And next again 19.5, and so on, right? So what are you seeing over here? In inclusive type, the lower limit of the next class and the upper limit of the first class are different. 14 and 15, they are different. So this is known as inclusive type. Inclusive. And in exclusive type, both are same. Look at this. Both are same over here. So where the upper and the lower limits are also the part of the class interval. Suppose if I get 14 number, this 14 number I'll arrange it in this class, not in this 15. 19 number I'll arrange it in this class. Okay. Remaining are easy for you. Right. So this is known as inclusive type. Got it, everyone? Clear? Move on. Everyone download Adda 24/7 app on your mobile. In this app, you will be getting the premium study material plus live classes, ebooks, tests. Download it immediately. And don't just download, because we are having many apps in our mobile. Right? I always tell you, we are having so many apps. How many apps do you have in your mobile? Everyone? Do you even know the number? How many apps do you have? And how many of them you use it? Hardly 3, 4, 5. Not more than 5 apps anyone uses in the mobile. So this shouldn't be the next app. Just downloaded and kept. Start using it, because it is for your benefit. Okay. You'll be getting many features over here in this app. Free tests are available. Free these questions are available. Okay. Ebooks are available. Some free videos are available. So you can definitely check that. Okay. And also join the paid classes in this. In the app only, you join the paid classes, you are getting 1% extra. I'll tell you. The following table gives the distribution of 100 families according to the expenditures. Find a modal class. Modal. We want a mode over here. So this is the expenditure 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and so on. and this is number of families. So which is the frequency over here? Tell me, which is the frequency? Number of families means how many families are having the income between 0 to 14. So this becomes the frequency. Always you must be able to identify the frequency first. If you understand F, then it becomes easier. This is called as F, frequency. So always it depends on frequency, which is the mode or which is the median or whatever it is. Okay, mainly mode. So mode means what? Which is having maximum number of times which is occurring. So who is occurring maximum number of times? 27. So which is the modal class? This is my modal class, right? So this is my modal class. Got it? Simple. Modal class, remember, it's always the maximum number of times which is occurring. Okay, and this other part is known as X. We always call this as X. This is a class. We find a class mark out of this. So it will be 5 over here. Central number. Here it will be 15. Right? And this we treated as X. Then we find out Fx and various formula are there. Fx upon F, all these mean, mode, median we find out. Okay? Got it? Clear? Simple? Move on. The runs scored by a batsman in 5 ODIs are 31, 97, 112, 63 and 19 and 12. Find the mean, median and mode. So what is this? Mean, median and mode. So first let's find out mean. What is mean? Mean means what? Addition. Do the addition everyone. 31 plus 97 plus 112 plus 63 plus 12. Add all them. What is the answer? What is the answer you're getting, guys? Let me also try. First, I want the answer in the comment section from you. What is the answer you're getting? 31 plus 97 plus 112 plus 63 plus 12. So the answer you get is how many? Yes. Comment section. Everyone. 315. Correct. So mean is what? 315 divided by number of elements. How many elements are there? 5. So 315 upon 5. So it is 63. This is my mean. This is my mean. Now mode. Mode means what? Which is coming maximum number of times. Who is coming maximum number of times? 31, 97, 112, 63 and 12. None of them is repeated. If any would have been repeated, let's say there would have been 31, 31, 2 times, then that would have been the mode. Who's coming maximum number of times. But here none of them is repeated. So, which is the mode then? All are modes. All are modes. Whenever the numbers are not repeated, everyone is a mode then. Okay? Now median. How to find out the median? What did I say about the median? First arrange. Arrange from the lowest to the highest. So arrange them. First is 31. Lowest is what? No, not 31. Lowest is 12. 12. Then 31. Then after that 63. After that 97. And last one is 112. Right? So arranged. Whatever is arranged, find a central number. Which is the central number? 63. So 63 is my mode. 63 is my median. So median equals to 63. Got it, everyone? So got it? How to find out the median? Arrange them in the central order, serial order. Now you'll ask me, sir, this is odd. That's why it's easy. Suppose if there would have been only 4 numbers, then 12, 31, 63 and 97. If these numbers were there, only these numbers, then what? In that case, what do? Arrange the same logic. Arrange them in the serial order and take the central numbers, 2 numbers central. Which are these 2? These are the 2 central numbers. Find the average of these, mean of these, mean. So 31 plus 63 upon 2. Give me the answer, everyone. 31 plus 63 upon 2. 31 plus 63, this upon 2. So it is 47. So then the median would have been 47 in that case, if there were 4 numbers. Got it? If it's an odd number, means odd numbers I am having, then the things are simple. Central number is very easy to find out. If it is even number, then I have to find out the central average of the.
Hi friends, welcome to Adda 24/7. We are in the Scholar series of ABM. Here we are covering important theory, numericals and objective questions. So follow the series from the start. Let's start.
Firstly, important theory we'll be covering, because these definitions are also equally important and you need to understand the concept. After that, we'll be covering the numericals. Okay. So if the frequency, first topic is frequency. If the value of the variable, example, discrete or continuous. What is discrete? What is continuous? Sure. Every word we'll discuss first and then we'll go ahead. So if the value of the variable, whether it's discrete or continuous, discrete means what? Separable. Separable means what? 1, 2, 3. Separable. Each can be separated. Continuous means what? Suppose like this: 0 to 5, 5 to 10. These are all continuous variables. So which occur in a you can say a gap, or you can say a fixed interval. Okay. So if the value of the variable, discrete or continuous, example height, weight, income, occurs twice or more in a given series of observations. Okay, twice or more in a given series of observations, then the number of occurrences of the value is termed as frequency. So this is an important definition from exam point of view. In exam, this word twice or more will be important for you. Okay. So anything which appears twice or more will be called as frequency. In exam, sometimes you get the numericals also. In that numerical, the frequency is 1 upon 10. So that is the frequency. So that in numerical you can write it 1. But remember, from the definition point of view, occurs twice or more is known as a frequency. The way of representing a data in form of table consisting of values of a variable with the corresponding frequencies is called as frequency distribution. What is distribution? The way of representing the data in form of table. Okay, in form of table means, here, suppose if I take this only 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15 and so on. So when I make the table out of this, okay, this is known as my class and this is known as my frequency. Okay, now I'll explain it. Suppose if I'm having these numbers 1, 2, 3, then let's say 3 again, then 3 again, then 4. Okay, and I start writing these classes now 0 to 5. Okay, 0 to 5. So let me make it like this. 0 to 5 means everything will be over here only. So let me make it 0 to 2. Let me make it smaller classes. Okay, 0 to 2, 2 to 4, 2 to 4, and then go on 4 to 6, so on. Okay, so 0 to 2, how many will be there? 0 to 2, how many are there from 0 to 2? Now remember, 0 to 2 means what? Will 2 be considered in this? No, 2 will be in the next class. Always 2 means 0 to 2 means less than 2. Okay, so here the frequency is 1 only. 2 to 4, 2 to 4. Now look at this. Starting from 2 over here, then 3, 3, 3, and now 4 will be there. No, 4 will be in the next class. So this is 4 times. So this becomes 0 to 4 is 4. So this is known as a frequency. And this table is known as frequency distribution table, in which I arrange it in proper manner. So representing the frequency in form of a table so that it is easily understood. Okay, so that is frequency distribution table. Class boundaries. So now there are 2 types of class boundaries. Remember, what is the class boundary? I'll give you a simple example. Now, just now we saw the classes means what? 0 to 5, 5 to 10. Now it can be 2 types. What are the 2 types? Let's say I divide it like this. How? Let me think. Let's keep it simple. 10 to 14, 15 to 19, 20 to 24. Look at this. Both are inclusive over here. Okay, 10 is also included, 14 is also included. So suppose if I get 10, where will I place this 10 over here in this group? Suppose if I get 14, where will I place this? Over in this group. Suppose if I get 17, I'll place it in this group. I get 19, I'll place it in this group, second group. Okay. I get 24, I'll place it in this third group. So this group where the upper and the lower boundary is included is known as inclusive group. Inclusive. Okay, got it? Inclusive means where the upper and the lower boundary is limit, you can call it maximum, minimum. Those are included is known as inclusive class. And what is exclusive then? Now if I have to convert this, here, inclusive classes can be converted to exclusive classes. So it has to be, while solving any numerical, inclusive class has to be converted to exclusive class. What do you mean by this? See this, it's like this. This 10, what will I do? I'll take 0.5 on the other side, earlier side, and 14 I'll take 0.5 on the other later side. Okay, so it will be what? 9.5 and here 14.5. Now the second part, 15 I'll take 0.5 on the other side. So it is 14.5 and 19.5. This now 20 I'll take it 19.5 and then 24.5 and so on. I'll go on and on and on. So what does it mean? See, this is known as exclusive. Exclusive. This earlier one was inclusive. Now what do you mean by this? It means that, see, this boundary over here, it won't be included. Now understand, it's not compulsory that both the boundaries are not included. For example, in this, suppose if I get 14.5 as a number, 14.5. So that 14.5 will not be included in this, but it will be included in this. So exclusive doesn't mean both the boundaries are excluded. It can be either one boundary or both the boundaries, or the upper boundary or the lower boundary. Anything is called as exclusive. So in this case, generally what we follow in your CAIIB is, we follow that any number, okay, which is on the boundary will always be included in the next class. Means 14.5, I'll be including it over here. 19.5, I'll be including it over here. Okay, so that is the meaning of exclusive and inclusive. While solving any numerical, this is the important discrimination. This is the important class. We never use inclusive class while solving the numericals. Never ever. We always use exclusive. Even if you have inclusive class, you have to convert it to exclusive. You have to convert it, remember. Okay. And the new class intervals is called as class boundaries. Okay. Now this is remaining thing is simple. The same thing I have explained you. Okay. Let's move on. You can read this if you want. Okay. Everyone subscribe to Officers Adda 24/7 YouTube channel. In this channel, you will be getting the latest updates plus this from IIBF plus free YouTube series. Okay. That's why. Subscribe to this channel, click on the bell icon immediately. Okay, free YouTube series. Right now you are watching the same. So you'll be getting the same in the channel. Now, how to join this series? There are 2-3 ways. One is you can join our Telegram channel. So this class, scan this blue code. Just expand this and scan this blue code. Okay, similarly this black code, QR code. Scan it to get your YouTube channel. Similarly this Insta, you can just scan it and you'll get it on the Insta. Why joining this, all these channels? Why should you join? Because we share, remember, 2-3 things. Okay, 2-3 important things we share over here. What are those? See, remember, we share importantly the free YouTube series. Okay. Secondly, free questions, you get it over here. Free questions, tests, you get it over here. Okay. So that's why you should join this immediately. The type of cumulative frequency where the frequencies are added starting from the highest class to the lowest class is called as highest to lowest. Now what do you mean by this? Suppose if these are the classes, let me explain it. Suppose if the classes are, let me make it simple. Okay, 0 to 5. Class means what? Upper limit, lower limit. 5 to 10, 10 to 15 and so on. Okay. Okay, let's take 3 classes. 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15. Now suppose if I arrange them in this way, what? 10 to 15, then below I go 5 to 10, then below I go 0 to 5. In that case, if I go in this way, it is called as what? This is the question. The type of cumulative frequency where the frequencies are added starting from the highest class to the lowest class is known as what? Relative frequency, percentage frequency, less than cumulative and greater than cumulative. What is it called as? Type in the comment section. Everyone, let me see. Type it in the comment section. Name itself, naam hi kafi hai. What is the name? Where is it starting from? It is starting from the highest one. So that's why greater than, isn't it? Naam hi kafi hai, that's what. If you are arranging it in this way, see, this is greater than, I'll write it over here. GT, I'll just write it, okay? Greater than. And if I arrange it like this, 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, okay? Then what do I get? I get less than, LT. Okay, this less than. Okay? Got it clear? Next one. The following table gives less than type frequencies distribution of income per day. What is the income? Which income is a mode? So I want a mode now. So look at this. This is known as a class, and this is known as the frequency. So which one is this? Frequency. Which is the maximum frequency? Mode means what? Any class which is having the maximum frequency. So which is the maximum frequency over here? 100. So the model class is this 1500. Simple, isn't it? In exam size numericals, if you get, it is just a cakewalk for you. Okay. The data of some workers is given 2300. All these things numbers are given. If the desired number of class intervals is 10, what is the class width? Now this you might have done earlier. I might have taken it earlier also. See here, it's very simple. Firstly, let me see how many of you are answering this. So suppose if it is like this, see, width equals to range divided by number. Number means this number of class, how many intervals are required. What is range? Range equals to highest minus lowest, h minus n. What is the highest one now over here? Tell me, highest. Which number is highest? 23, 24, 25, 21, 2000, blah, 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 blah. This 3000. So 3000 minus which is the lowest? 2000. So it is 1000, right? 1000. So what is my width then? Width equals to 1000 upon number. What is the number? 10. So my class width will be 100. So this is my answer. Okay. Everyone download Adda 24/7 app on your mobile. In this app, you will be getting the premium study material, plus live classes, ebooks, tests. Whatever we require for clearing JIB and CIB, we get it over here. Immediately download and start studying. Not just download. Okay, start studying. Okay. The class where the upper and the lower limits are also in the class interval is called as. Have we done this? No, I was explaining you at that time. Yeah. So this is the same question which we have done it. Upper and the lower limits are also in the class interval. So they are in the class interval. So it is called as exclusive, inclusive, discrete, continuous. Which is this? Upper and the lower are also in the class interval. Just now I told you, right, that what 10 to 14, 15 to 19, right? So upper and lower, I told you, if I get 14, it will be in this class, right? So this is known as inclusive, right? And then we have to convert this to exclusive. I've shown you earlier, so we won't be repeating it now, okay? The following table gives the distribution of 100 families according to their expenditure. Find a model class. Simple. Let me see who can give me the fastest answer. Model class. Model means what? Just now we did model. What was mode? Model means that class which is having the highest frequency. So which is having the highest frequency? Number of families. This is F. Remember, class is always this class, or we call it X also. X or class only, call it X class. Because for this class we have a class mark. That's a separate part. We'll do this someday else. So which is the model class over here? Highest frequency 27. So which is the model class? This. Now, if you want to find the mode of this, there is a separate formula. That's a big formula. Okay. So that's why I would suggest you to join the paid classes over here. Okay. The runs scored by the batsman for 5 ODIs are this. Find the mean, median, and mode. Okay. Simple one. Let's do it. Mean. Okay. What is the mean? Mean means average. Okay, mean is always average. Average. So what is the average? Total then. 31 plus 97 plus 112 plus 63 plus 12. Okay, 31 plus 97. Now do it. By the time I write it, you do it everyone. 112 plus 63 plus 12. Okay, so what is the answer? This total, the whole upon number of elements 5. So this will be my mean. Whatever that answer is. Okay, everyone do it. Let me see who is getting the answer over here. Yeah, who's getting it? Everyone, do it fast. See, exams are near, so you need to do it fast. Yeah, everyone. Yeah. So what is it? Let me see. Yeah. 31 plus 97 plus 112 plus 63 plus 12, right? So total is 315. 315 divided by 5. So it is what? 63? 63 is my mean, right? Mean is 63. Median. What about the median then? Median means always arrange them in the serial order. Means what? From the lowest to highest. We'll arrange them in ascending order. 12. Then what is the next one? After 12, the blah 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 31. 31. After 31, 63. After 63, 97. After 97, 112. Okay, so which is the median? The central one. This is my median. Okay. Mode means which occurs maximum number of times. Who's occurring maximum number of times? None of them is repeated. So all are modes. All.
Hello everyone, welcome to Officer Adda 24/7. A very good evening to all of you. So today we are going to discuss some questions from Module D, right? As you know that Module D we have started in the paid batch and this is now completed also, right? So from the paid batch, right, I have taken some questions here so that we are going to solve. So Module D is your last module in ABM, right? And this is a very important module when we are talking about the exam point of view. So here what we have to do exactly, the first course total we have around 7 chapter in module D. Okay, 7 chapter. All the chapters are very important and this module covers the definition of compliance, that what is the compliance, what is the compliance risk, what is the compliance testing, what is the meaning of fraud and vigilance in the bank, right? So here when we are talking about the first question, that is dual heading. Okay, what is the meaning of dual heading? As mentioned in the RBI circular on compliance function and role of CCO for NBFC UL and NBFC ML issued in the April 2022, right? So when we are talking about the chief compliance officer, see, in the bank, chief compliance officer is the senior executive in the bank. Normally he is like GM or maybe the CGM level, and they have to take care of properly all the compliance function in the bank, right? And they have to collect the certificate from the overseas branch, from the domestic branches and from the ZO and RO. So here we are talking about the dual heading. For CCO, actually dual heading is not allowed. That means CCO cannot be the part of any other department and he cannot be the part of any other committee. He can just play the advisory role. Right? Only advisory role he can play. But he can be the part of 4 committees. The number 1 is, that is CORM. Right? Number 2 is, that is product group committee. Number 3 committee is, that is audit committee of board, and number 4 is again CRM. So there are 4 committee, and here we are talking about the dual heading. So as mentioned in the RBI circular on compliance function and role of CCO for NBFC UL and ML. See, for earlier actually for UL and ML and BL also, the RBI, they have not given any compliance function, any CCO or any type of scale based regulation they have not given. But in the year of 2022 April, they have given so many policies, skill based regulation. They have divided NBFC into the four layer, that is base layer, middle layer, upper layer and top layer. So dual rating, of course, in the case of bank also it is not allowed for CCO, and similarly for NBFC, UL and ML there has to be a CCO, but dual rating is not allowed. So option 1 is CCO should not be given any responsibility which bring element of conflict of interest. B is CCO should not be given extension beyond 2 terms if the age is beyond 70. C is CCO should not be allowed to report to the chairman and MD as well as board without bank consent, and CCO should not be allowed, right, to be appointed more than one NBFC without RBI's prior approval. So what is the meaning of dual heading? The meaning of dual heading is that a one cannot be the part of any other department or any other responsibility we cannot given to the CCO because of the conflict of interest, right? Because the role of the CCO is to identify the irregularities, to identify the discrepancies in the system. So option A is the correct one. CCO should not be given any responsibility which bring element of conflict of interest. Now the next question is, we are talking about one risk in the banking and financial services which is associated with an institution losing consumer or stakeholder trust. It is the risk that those consumer and stakeholder will take on a negative perception of the bank, whether it's a one particular branch or the entire branch following a particular event. So we are talking about annihilation risk, we are talking about reputation risk, we are talking about strategy risk, or we are talking about the legal risk. Tell me which one can be the right answer. There are four options is given and we are talking about one risk can be the right answer. We are talking about the risk here in the banking and financial services which is associated with an institution losing consumer or stakeholder trust. It is the risk that those consumer and stakeholder will take on a negative perception of the bank. That means we are talking about the reputational risk here. What is the meaning of reputational risk? See, the reputation risk, when we are talking about the reputation risk, that means this is something which can lose the consumer trust on you. Okay, that means maybe any type of fraud was happened or any type of something was happened, corruption was happened, and because of that the consumer, they are actually losing trust on you. Okay, and the banking business is completely based on the trust, right? If someone is opening the account with you, right, that means they are having some trust on you, right? So it is the risk that those consumer and stakeholder will take on a negative perception. That means we are talking about the reputation risk. Question number 3 is overall responsibility. This is a very common question. Last year in June also IBF has asked this question, right? So when we are talking about this question, that means overall responsibility for overseeing the effective management of the bank compliance function. We are talking about bank's board of director. We are talking about the audit committee of board. We are talking about the chief compliance officer, or we are talking about the MD and CO. Option is only one, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, and 1, 2 and 4. So which one is the right answer? Right? When we are talking about, that is overall responsibility for overseeing the effective management of the bank compliance function. That means we are talking about only board of director. The overall responsibility is having with the bank board of director. So A is the right answer. Now what is the responsibility does chief internal vigilance officer, okay, chief internal vigilance officer have in the terms of reviewing vigilance matter and reporting? Normally in the public sector bank, the designation is CVO, that is chief vigilance officer, but for private bank the similar designation is having with the CIV, Chief Internal Vigilance Officer. So which one is the right option with respect to them? One second. Right? So which one is the right answer? Option A is the CIV must conduct monthly meeting with the chief executive for vigilance work review. B is the CIV should only review the investigation report and disciplinary cases on a periodic basis. C is the CIV is exempt from reporting vigilance activity to the board or local governing council, and D is the CIV is not responsible for expediting action on the pending matter. Okay, so when we are talking about the CIV, normally in the private bank the designation is Chief Internal Vigilance Officer, but for the public sector bank the designation is Chief Vigilance Officer. So when we are talking about the what responsibility does the Chief Internal Vigilance Officer have in terms of reviewing the right have in terms of reviewing the vigilance matter and reporting, right? Which one is the right answer? Right, so which one is the right answer? Option A is the CIV must conduct the monthly meeting. B is should only review the investigation. So only word we are using, which is wrong actually. Right, CIV is exempt from reporting the vigilance activity to the board or local governing council, which is wrong. CIV is not responsible for expediting action, which is completely wrong. So they have to conduct the monthly meeting with the chief executive for vigilance work review. Right, now the next question is question number 5. According to the scale based regulation of NBFC, the concentration of credit and investment is how much of tier 1 capital for single borrower, and what is the percentage of tier 1 capital for single group of borrower or parties? So that is for the group of borrower or the parties. Which one is the right answer? Right, which one is the right answer? Right, so when we are talking about that is 25 and 40. Okay, what is the right answer here? That is 25 and 40. Earlier it was 25 and 40 but with the NAT own fund, but now it is tier 1 capital. So a scale based regulation actually RBI has given in 2022 October, right? They have given the capital guideline, right? They have given the governance guideline, and they have given the prudential guideline. Okay, so normally for BL and ML the capital guideline comes, right, for UL and ML, but for BL governance guideline is there. For BL actually no capital guideline, there is no prudential guideline. For BL actually governance guideline is there, and apart from that for ML and UL also governance guideline is there. So the right answer is 25 and 40, that is. This is the right answer. Question 6 is that is, right, what is the answer of question 6? See, the question 6 is that is what happens when someone uses your personal or financial information without your permission. It can damage your credit status and cost you time and money, right? So the option 1 is identity theft, B is electronic fraud, C is check fraud, and D is credit card fraud. So which one is the right answer? Tell me. Which one is the right answer? What happens when someone uses your personal or financial information without your permission? It can damage your credit status and cost you time and money. Option A is identity theft, B is electronic fraud, and C is check fraud, D is credit card fraud. Which one is the right answer? When we are talking about that someone is using your identity, that means someone is using your address proof, someone is using your ID, right? So that means we are talking about the identity theft. that means we are talking about the impersonation here. Okay, we are talking about the impersonation, identity theft or impersonation. So this is the right answer, option number A. Question 7 is, according to the Whistleblower Act 2014, which of the following statement is or are correct? Option A is, the Central Vigilance Commission is designated as an authorized agency to receive the written complaint. B is, anonymous complaint shall not be acted upon. C is, any public servant or person including an NGO can make written disclosure of the designated agency except those referred in clause A to D of the Article 33 of Indian Constitution, and all of the above. Tell me, so which one is the right answer? You can read the right. So when we are talking about Whistleblower Act, see, earlier actually PDP resolution was there. It was came in the into the picture in the year of 2006. Then after that Whistleblower Act came into the picture. That was came into the force in the year of 2014, that is. Okay, so earlier actually, that is, PDP resolution is there. What is the meaning of PDP resolution? The PDP resolution full form is Public Interest Disclosure and Protection of the Informer. Okay, so the full form is, that is, Public Interest Disclosure, right, and protection of the informer, and that is protection of informer. Okay, so that is Public Interest Disclosure and Protection of the Informer. So according to the Whistleblower Act 2014, which of the following statement is or are correct? Option A is, the Central Vigilance Commission is designated as the authorized agency to receive the written complaint. B is, anonymous complaint shall not be acted upon. C is, any public servant or a person including an NGO can make written disclosure to the designated agency except those referred in the clause A to D of Article 33. So all of the above is the right answer. Next is, when NBFC is categorized as a NBFC UL by RBI, then within how many months NBFC have to put the board approved policy for adoption of the enhanced regulatory framework. Okay, and submit the implementation plan for adherence the enhanced guideline. So when any NBFC, when they are categorized, when they are identified as a UL by the RBI, then what is the time limit exactly, right? So we are talking about 3, 24 and 5 years. Okay, 3 months, 24. So within 3 months, and we have to put approved board policy for adoption. They have to give the plan, implementation plan, and within 24 months they have to implement that plan. So here the answer is of course 3 months. This is the time when you have to submit the implementation plan, right? Now what is the time limit for that plan? I mean, what is the time in which the company has to submit their, has to implement their whatever the plan is there for the enhanced guideline in the 24 months, and for 5 year continuous they have to follow that regulatory guideline, right? So the answer here is, that is 3 months. Okay, now at overseas branch, the duties of the compliance officer is carried out by Chief Compliance Officer, Senior Officer designated in the overseas branch, Local Compliance Officer preferably or oblique, and an India based Scale 3 and 4 officer, HR officer in the HR overseas department HO. See, in the overseas branch, the duties of compliance officer is, there has to be a local compliance officer, right, India based, and with the support of the local staff. He will be designated as a compliance officer. So here the option 3 is the correct one. So all the viewers who are watching the right first time officers Adda channel, first of all, please do and subscribe our channel. And apart from that, we have recently launched our batch, right? And
Hi friends, welcome to Adda 24/7. We are in the Scholar series for ABM. In this we are covering the important objective questions, important theory, as well as the important numericals. So follow the series completely. Okay, let's start.
Firstly, sampling distribution. What is sampling distribution? You must understand that first. Sampling distribution is a process used in the statistical analysis in which the predetermined number of observations are taken from the larger population. Now, important word over here is predetermined number of observations. Remember this by heart. What happens? I must know how many samples I have to take. If I don't know that, then it would be of no use for me doing some sampling. I'll go on doing the samples. How many numbers I don't know. I'll take 500, then 1000, then 1 lakh. It won't end. So we must first decide where I have to stop. So predetermined number of observations are taken from the larger population. The methodology used to sample from a larger population depends on the type of analysis being performed. Now understand this. Methodology means what? Here it means what type of sampling should I do. There we come with the topics of these random sampling, all the various types of sampling. I'll take them. Okay. So got it. Firstly, the concept. Okay. Okay. Now for a few things you need to understand. Sampling. Now suppose if I tell you to take some tea. Okay. I'll give you a cup of tea and ask you whether it's hot or not. What will you do? Will you take the whole cup of tea and drink it immediately to check whether it's hot or not? No. What will you do? You'll just take a sip of the tea. Sip, right? Hot. So if that sip is hot, it means the whole cup is hot, right? The whole tea is hot. That's the basic logic of sampling. I'll select those samples which will be indicative of the full population. Suppose if this is a city of 1 lakh, okay? Complete 1 lakh. If I do the sampling of whole 1 lakh, it is called a census. Understand the word. Census means when I do the sampling of each and every person. But when I am doing sampling as such, sampling word, when I am doing the sampling or survey, there I'll take the samples and I'll do the survey of those samples. I won't do the survey of all the population. Okay, got it? Simple. This is what the concept is here. You need to understand the concept first. Okay. Now look at this. Some important points over here. There are two parts. One is population and second is samples. Here, as I've showed you over here, this full circle is known as the population. 1 lakh people. And the samples which I take are known as, these points are known as samples. So this is the population as a whole, and then we have sample. Now what are the terminologies used for the population and the sample? Look at it. Okay. Definition of population: collection of all items, full population. Suppose 1 lakh persons, as I told you over here. 1 lakh is the population of a city. So if I do the full population or survey of full population, it will be called as what? Then it will be called as census. And this is known as population. So it includes collection of all items. And here, part of the population, some part. Okay. What are the characteristics? Suppose if I take the mean mode of population, it is called as parameter. Suppose if I take the mean mode of sample, it is called as statistic. See here, mean, standard deviation of population is known as parameter. Mean, standard deviation of sample is known as statistic. We have various other statistics and these parameters. Mean, mode, median, all these are parameters as well as the statistics. Okay. Now how they are defined? Look at this. Size is always given as capital N is always for population. Small n is always for sample. Mean of population is shown as mu. Mu. Remember, this is called as mu. and mean of sample is always shown as x bar. This you will see it when I will take the problems. Okay, there it's very important. Standard deviation is given as psi. This is called as psi. And here standard deviation is called as psi. But I'll tell you one more thing over here. Whenever I am taking anything for the sample, it is generally called as standard error. Remember this. If I have standard deviation for population, for my sample I have standard error. Okay. And we generally write it. You will see this when I solve the numerical. Psi dash. Okay. Psi dash. Okay. Now what are bias samples? Bias means what here? We always say, no, this person is biased. My boss is biased. This is a general statement given by us, right? Boss is biased towards some employees. Right? You have seen this? Suppose the parliament is debating on the women's bill. You are asked to conduct an opinion survey. Because women are most affected by the women's bill, you interviewed many women in different cities and towns and rural areas of India. Then you report that the overwhelming 95% are in favor of the reservation of the women's bill. Now that is the bias sampling. If you ask only women about the women's bill, they'll definitely support it. Generally, that's a tendency. Okay. So that's the basic bias sample. So in here, what do we mean to say is that the population should be equally divided. If you are asking for those who are in favor, you should also ask for those who are not in favor. Okay. Otherwise, it becomes a bias sample. Now look at this. This sampling is of generally three types. 3 or 2 also we call it. Probability, purposive, and third is no rule sampling. Now no rule is generally not asked in exam. Probability and purposive is asked many times. Purposive is also called as non-probability. It is also called as judgmental. Here I'll write the words over here. Okay. It is non-probability also they call it non-probability. I'll just write non-prob. Okay. And next one is judgmental. Okay. That is also the another name to purposive. Now probability samplings are of 4 types. Simple random, systematic, stratified, and cluster. Now we'll study each one in detail, but before going ahead, I'll just give you the short idea about this simple random and all this. Okay. Understand one simple logic of probability. Probability sampling means that sampling in which every element has got an equal chance of getting selected. Equal chance. Okay. So every person, every individual, every sample will have equal chance. Now it is of 4 types. Suppose if I say in a class of 50 students, any 10 students, that becomes simple random. If I say every 5th student, means what? I'll tell them to stand in the row. I don't know. I'll close my eyes. I won't tell who will stand where. I'll close my eyes and tell them stand in the row and every 5th student come out. So that is all. That is known as systematic. Suppose if I divide that class of 50 students into marks, those who have got 40 to 50% stand here, 50 to 60 stand here, 60 to 70 stand here, and so on. So that will be called as stratified. I am creating strata, I am creating levels over here. Okay. And last one is cluster. Suppose if I tell them, those who are from Maharashtra stand here, those who are from Delhi stand here, those who are from Tamil Nadu stand here, those who are from this any state stand here. Okay. So this is generally cluster. Cluster is generally related to region. Okay. Now one important point I'll give you over here only, stratified and cluster. Within the same strata, they have similar qualities. Means what? 70 to 80% student, the student who is having the range of 70 to 80 will think similarly. They'll think similar to each other. Versus students who are having the marks 70 to 80 and the marks of 40 to 50. Their ranges will be different. Thinking ability will be different. So that's what is meant by stratified. 40 to 50% student will always think of passing. 80 to 90 will always think of scoring. So within the same strata, they'll have similar qualities. Within different strata, different qualities. Reverse is the case with cluster. Within the same cluster, there is a huge variety. Now somebody is from Goa. So in Goa also there will be a student of 80 to 90%. There will be a student of 40 to 50%, right? So within the same cluster, there is huge variety. It's exactly opposite of this stratified. Within different clusters may have similar qualities. Different clusters may have similar, means what? Goa will also have some student who's 40 to 50 and MP will also have some students who's 40 to 50. UP will also have that, right? So within different clusters, we may have the students of similar categories. That's what is the difference between stratified and cluster. This question comes every time in the exam, okay? Now, more about this non-probability. See this, I'll tell you later also. I'm having a separate slide on this. Convenience sampling, consecutive sampling, quota sampling, purposive sampling or judgmental, and snowball sampling. I'll give you a separate slide on this now only, okay? And then we'll study each one. Now, simple random. We'll go in details now for probability because that's very important. Simple random sampling selects the samples by methods that allow each possible sample to have an equal probability of being picked and each item in the entire population to be included. Means what? Each possible sample to have of having equal probability. Means what? Just now I told you. Any 10 students from the class of 100 students. Any 10. So everyone has got a chance. So that's what is meant by simple random sampling. Each possible sample, see this, each possible sample will have equal chance. Very important part over here. Okay. I'll mark this. Hold on. Each possible sample, this one, has an equal probability of being picked. Okay. And each item in the entire population to be included in the sample. Correct? Now let's look at this for simple random sampling. Suppose if I give you this example. There are 4 teenagers, A, B, C, D. Any boys, you, anyone we can consider. Now I have to select a group of 2. How will I select? Group of 2 can be selected in these ways. AB, AC, AD, BC, BD and CD. This is the only way which I can select, right? This you are having a separate topic of probability. There we'll study this again. Okay. So these are the groups I have selected. Now the question over here is probability of drawing these samples of 2 people is same as below. So means what? Suppose if the probability of selecting any 2, this BC or BD or AC, I close my eyes and I tell them to stand in these groups. And what happens? I close my eyes and select any group. Then what is the chance? Suppose if I want to select BC. Out of these 6, BC can be selected in only one way. So look at this. Probability of BC is 1 by 6. Similarly others. CD can be selected in only one way. So if you want to select the group, the probability is 1 by 6. Now look at this. This is separate. Suppose if in this group I make them to stand in group of 2s. And what is the probability? That I'll select A in this. Any group which I select, what is the probability that I'll select A? Single person. Now look at this. A can be selected in how many ways? AB, AC, AD. In all these A's there. So A can be selected in 3 ways, right? 1, 2 and 3. 3 groups. Out of how many? So 3 divided by 6. Now look at this. Very important part. This becomes a technical part. Okay. So A can be selected in 3 ways. 3 ways upon total 6. So 3 upon 6 is 1 by 2. So here comes the answer of 1 by 2. This typically is related to probability required upon sample size. Means success. I'll write it over here. Probability's formula is like this. Success upon sample size, SS. Okay. We'll study this when we study probability. If you want to write A, B, C or D on 4 identical slips of paper. Now here comes the next topic of this within the same random sampling only. The next topic which comes is sampling without replacement and with replacement. Now this common sense you can understand it. Without means what? I'll take 4 papers, 4 chits A, B, C and D. Okay. And slip of papers, fold the papers, randomly pick any 2. Suppose if I select any 2. And then what do? While picking up 2 slips, we may pick one by one and keep it away. Pick another from the remaining 3. Now remaining 3, what does it mean? Once I pick one, I won't keep it again. So that's known as without replacement. And the second thing is with replacement. Suppose if I pick this slip D, okay, see the name in this and again put it inside that same jar. So then it will be called as what? With replacement. Don't we have this? We have seen this many times, right? With and without. Whenever I take any slip, I don't put it back in that box or whatever it is, right? So that is without. And this is with. We use the term infinite population now because this infinite population term is asked in the exam. When we are talking about a population that could not be enumerated in reasonable time period. Now what do you mean by this? Infinite means, what do you mean by infinite? Suppose if I say 1 lakh population, even I can call that also infinite. I say 1 crore population, I can call that also infinite. Although it is countable. Infinite, what is the real meaning of infinite? Which cannot be counted. But if I say 1, I'll tell you, okay, tomorrow I'll tell you. You go and count the entire population of the city, wherever you live. Is it possible? That becomes infinite for you within reasonable period of time. Okay, so it cannot be determined within reasonable period of time, right? Thus, we use theoretical concept of infinite population as an approximation of a large finite population. Approximation of large finite. Got it? If my population is too used to be done in a survey, so okay, I'll give you one more example in this. I'll tell you what you do. You do the survey of 1 lakh people in 2 days. 1 lakh people in 2 days survey. Go and ask each one. It's not possible. That's why reasonable period. So that becomes an infinite population for that 1 lakh people for that 2 days. But if I ask you the separate question, now same 1 lakh population, I'll tell you to do the survey in, let's say, 10 years. 1 lakh in 10 years. Then it doesn't become an infinite population because there the time period is huge. That's the logic. Okay. So there is nothing called as absolute infinite or finite over here. Okay. Systematic sampling. In a systematic sampling, elements are selected from the population at a consistent level that is measured in time, order, or space. Now, consistent level. What do you mean by this? Just now I told you when I gave you that separate this slide I showed you. Every 5th student in the class of 60 students, every 5th student will stand in the row and every 5th student will come out. So that's known as systematic sampling. So consistent, okay. Systematic sampling differs from simple random sampling that in each element, in that each element has equal chance of being selected, but each sample does not have an equal chance of being selected. Now, this is a problem with systematic. And this question comes in exam as a complete the following for 1 mark. Systematic sampling differs from simple random sampling that each element has got an equal chance, because I don't know which element will stand on the 5th of this means whenever I tell them to stand in the row, who will be standing 5th? I don't know. So that means each element has got an equal chance, but each sample does not have, because the one who will be standing 4th, he will not get selected. So each sample does not have an equal chance in systematic sampling. In systematic sampling, there is a probability of introducing an error into the sampling process. The system chosen may cause a problem. Now, these are all the complete the following questions or match the following questions. They'll give you systematic sampling. Then on the other side, they'll give you the probability of introducing an error. This is what is an important part in the systematic sampling. Remember this from the match the following or theoretical part. Okay. Advantage. This method may require less time and sometimes results in lower cost than simple random sample method. Right? Because systematic sampling, obviously we are not telling all the 60 students to stand and select randomly. We are telling every 10th or every 5th. So it means it will give me a fair chance and it will be fast over here. Okay. Stratified sampling. To use stratified sampling, we divide the population into relatively homogeneous groups called as strata. Now, what do you mean by this homogeneous? When we divided those students 40 to 50%, 50 to 60%, right? We did it just now. 40 to 50, 50 to 60. So what were we doing? What did I tell you at that time? Suppose somebody has got a percentage of 40 to 50. They will think in a similar way. But the one who has got a percentage between 90 to 100, the thinking of these two persons, these two groups will be totally different. But within the groups, they will always think similar. So this is known as homogeneous. Thus, when we use the following of the two approaches. So first, we'll divide them into separate strata. Then either we select at random from each stratum a specified number of elements. Means specified means what? I may tell that from 90 to 100 we'll select 5 students. From 40 to 50 we'll select 10 students. So I might have already decided. That's why come back to the first definition of that sampling distribution, predetermined. Okay. I'll say 90 to 100 I want 5 students, 40 to 50 I want 6 students, 50 to 60 I want 10 students. It will be determination from my side. That is one way out. And second way out is we draw equal number of elements from each stratum and give weight to the results according to the stratum's proportion in the total population. Okay. So I can draw specified number from each separate group, or I can draw equal number. Every group 40 to 55, 50 to 65, 60 to 75 and so on. So equal number or specified number. When to use stratified sampling? When do you use this? Stratified sampling is used is an appropriate when the population is already divided into different sizes. Means already I have divided 40 to 50% marks, 50 to 60 I have divided. Then stratified sampling is useful. Okay. Example, middle class, upper class, lower middle class. So I have divided this already. So then stratified sampling is of use. According to age, race, gender or any other stratification, age groups may be 13 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40 and so on. Right? The advantages of stratified sampling are that when they are properly designed, they more accurately reflect the characteristic of the population from which they are chosen than any other kind of sample. So basically it is correct. Suppose if I choose 20 to 30 age group, so that thinking will give me the correct picture. Suppose if I want to design a jeans, okay, jeans pant. So which group thinks in what way? For that I have to divide it into various age groups and then I'll get the real answer. So there the stratified sampling will be of best use. Cluster. We divide the population into groups or clusters and then select a random sample of these clusters. So first we'll divide them into these groups or clusters. What did I say earlier? It is similar to that of that regional geography based Goa, MP, UP. We assume that these individual clusters are representative of the population as a whole. Now, how do we do this? Now, this again, you'll get this. What did I say earlier? Goa, MP, UP. We take a city map and divide the territory into blocks, right? So, instead of city, I can take India map complete and divide it into various states. So, it means again, we are coming to geographical distribution and then choose a certain number of blocks for interviewing. Out of this, I'll choose which state should I interview the best or which area should I interview the best. Every household in each of these blocks would be interviewed, right? Comparison of stratified and cluster. Already I have given you. We use stratified sampling when each group has a small variation within itself, right? Stratified 40 to 50%, 50 to 60, 60 to 70. But there is a wide variation between the groups, right? 42% thinking, 40 to 50 thinking differently than 80 to 90, right? We use cluster sampling in the opposite case. When there is considerable variation within the group, Goa, MP, UP, but groups are essentially similar. Means in Goa also I am having 80 to 90%, in UP also I am having, in Tamil Nadu also I am having everywhere, right? Basis of statistical inference. Simple random sampling, systematic sampling, systematic sampling and stratified sampling and cluster sampling. So basically systematic, stratified and cluster sampling, okay, attempt to approximate simple random sampling. So understand this concept. This concept is, let me cancel this part is a heading. Okay, yeah. So systematic sampling, stratified sampling and cluster sampling attempt to approximate simple random sampling. This is an exam question. In exam they will ask you systematic sampling, stratified sampling and cluster sampling will attempt to approximate dash, and then the answer will be simple random sampling. Remember, these are the practical questions asked in the exam. The process of making statistical inferences is based on the principles of random sampling. Very importantly, remember, simple random sampling is the best sampling available in throughout the world. All these systematic, stratified, cluster are taken later. They are an approximation. Now I'll come to the second part. This was all that probability. Now this is non-probability. Now what is this? Let's see. Purposive sampling, also known as judgmental, selective or subjective sampling, is a form of non-probability sampling in which the researchers rely on their own judgment when choosing the members of the population to participate in the survey. So this is all judgmental. Suppose we see in that what TV shows, singing competition, dancing competition, what Naj Baliye, right? All those are there. No? What do we see in that? There are judges. Judges have their own judgment. They are the learned person. So in form of non-probability sampling, where the researchers rely on their own judgment, own knowledge. So this is judgmental sampling. Non-probability sampling is a branch of sample selection that uses non-random ways to select group of people to participate in the research. Non-random ways, okay? It's based on the judgment, simply, completely on the judgment. Now some other samplings, and these are also judgmental only. Snowball sampling is a non-probability sampling method where new units are recruited by other units in form of to form the part of the survey. So this snowball is asked every time in the exam, every time. This is similar to that of MLM, multi-level marketing. You know that, no? You say you do one person, then that person will do three persons, those three will do again three, goes on and on and on, right? So that is the same way, where new units are recruited by other units to form the part of the sample. Second is convenience sampling. Convenience is the cheater. Who is the cheater? Is a non-probability sampling method where units are selected for inclusion on the sample because they are easiest for the researcher to access. What do I mean by this? Suppose if you tell me to do the survey of 15 persons in the city, 15 persons. And what do? I sit at my home. Who will go, man? Who is near me? Neighbors. Bring all my 15 neighbors and my family members. So that's convenience. Okay, because they are easiest for the researcher to access. Quota is a non-probability sampling method that relies on the non-random selection of predetermined number of proportion of units. Okay, so non-random selection of predetermined number. Predetermined. Quota means what? Mumbai 100, this Delhi 100, this what UP 100. So quota means what? A quota is given to everywhere. Consecutive. This is a sincere guy. Sincere. This guy is a cheater. Convenience. And this is a sincere guy. It's very similar to convenience sampling, except it seeks to include all accessible subjects as a part of the sample, which sometimes are considered as the best type of non-probability sampling. So this guy won't stay at home. He will go to each and every accessible part. 15 people, I'll go to one corner, then other corner, then other corner, and then I'll select the 15 samples from there. So this is consecutive. Sincere guy. Okay. So that's it about random sampling and the introduction.